People who used to struggle with falling asleep. How did you overcome this issue? Growing up, I always felt a bit more nervous than the other kids around me. It started with small things, like worrying about what to say or being too scared to make friends. But as I got older, my worries grew bigger, and my anxiety started to show up in ways I couldn't ignore. My heart would race for no reason, my hands would get all sweaty, and sometimes, I found it really hard to breathe properly. It was like my body was reacting to a danger that wasn't there. My anxiety got so bad that it even started affecting my sleep. I was just lying in bed thinking about everything that happened during the day. I would replay conversations in my head, wondering if I said something wrong or if someone was upset with me. This constant overthinking made it impossible to relax, and I felt tired all the time. One of the hardest moments came during a class presentation. Standing in front of everyone, I suddenly felt like I couldn't breathe. My vision blurred, and my chest felt so tight. It was terrifying. I ended up having a panic attack right there in front of my classmates. After that, I couldn't hide my anxiety from my mom anymore. She was surprised because I always tried to act like everything was okay, especially around her. Seeing how much I was struggling, my mom helped me find ways to cope. She took me to therapy, where I learned some techniques to manage my anxiety. She also got me a weighted blanket, which was supposed to help me feel secure and sleep better. For a while, these things really helped, and I started to feel more in control of my anxiety. But then, life got even more challenging. When I turned 20 and started living on my own, I thought I could handle everything. I had a job at Amazon and was going to college, but it was really hard. My apartment was small and hot, and my worries came back stronger than ever. I missed classes because I was too anxious and couldn't sleep. Well, one night, after missing too many classes and feeling completely overwhelmed, I called my mom in tears. I hadn't been honest with her about how hard things were for me, but she knew right away that I needed her. She came over with a care package which was full of my favorite candy, face masks, an old plushie that I had forgotten about, and a blanket. She had bought this for me after I moved out in case my new responsibilities caused my anxiety to spike. My mom explained that she chose it because she remembered how much her hugs used to calm me down during my panic attacks. She pointed to my crumbled weighted blanket and said the pod might work better than that and be a bit cooler during the nighttime. I missed sleeping through the night with my weighted blanket, so I hoped the sleep pod might be the perfect replacement. At that point, I was still desperate for any sort of anxiety relief, especially something that might help me get back on a normal sleep schedule. Sleep was more comfortable now that I was wrapped in my sleep pod instead of a huge blanket. It molded perfectly around my body to mimic being hugged. I felt like a kid in my mom's arms all over again. When I wrapped myself in it at night, the physical sensation of being held distracted me enough from my racing thoughts to get me to sleep in no time. Things immediately started looking up after I started sleeping regularly again. I was more focused in class and more productive at work. I was even able to enjoy my alone time, using it to relax instead of overthinking everything. On tough days, I would wrap myself in the sleep pod for a few minutes before starting my day, and it helped soothe my anxiety quickly. The pod made me feel closer to my mom, and it felt great knowing she would always be there for me, especially now because my finals were approaching fast and I knew I would have been in hot water if she hadn't gifted me the new blanket. By the time finals came around, I was in a much better place. I tackled them with a sense of excitement rather than fear. My anxiety didn't control me as it once did, so I got through school really easily. I wasn't scared to do any presentations, I rarely had any breathing problems, and I could always manage school and my job while still sleeping well every night. After I graduated, I moved into a luxury apartment and got a better job. It was like a dream. I had a brand new place, my trade, my health, and I had finally found an easy, reliable coping mechanism for my lifelong anxiety.